Josh, when it comes to just whatever emotional residue there might be in facing that team 3 weeks after what happened, does it help the emotional release that you guys had and the bonding that you guys had to prepare for this game? And how much might there still be something left over as you take the field from 3 weeks ago?
I don't think there's honestly too much left over. Obviously, with guys being able to see a little bit of DeMar, I know Coach said he's been in the building. So guys being able to see him, talk with him, I think that kind of alleviates most of that. Not saying that there's going to be none. I can't speak for everybody on the team. But again, I think we're just extremely focused right now and just having a good week of preparation and, trying to go out there on Sunday and execute.
Hey Josh, Dawson has had a touchdown in 5 straight games now. I know you're real tight with him. He's gone through a lot this season personally as well. Just what has it meant for this offense to have him kind of rolling now into the playoffs?
Yeah, he's been great for us. The more that we can get him the ball, seems like the better that we do. And again, he's such a he really is. He's so athletic. He's so big. He's so fast. He's tough for smaller guys, and he's quicker than some of the big guys that guard him. So, just trying to get everybody involved in this offense. And I think when we're spraying it around and getting everybody involved, I think we become very balanced. And I think that's a sign of a good team.
Josh, I know that ball security is something you constantly focus on, right? But I asked Sean this. After a game like Sundays or whatever, it becomes more of an issue. He says he trusts you, the players in general, to kind of deal with that, but isn't really necessarily has to address it. What's your process and how do you kind of focus on coming off a game like that, deal with protecting the football in that part?
Yeah, I think it's short memory and just trying to move on, be the best quarterback that I can be for the Bills. Obviously wanting to make good decisions, and I think out of the whole game, I think I made one bad decision. It was the deep ball to John, and obviously we want to end the ball or end every possession with the ball in our hands, whether it's a touchdown, punting it away or kicking a field goal, and that's our mindset that'll never change. And there is a thin line between being aggressive and being a little bit reckless. So again, just getting back on the right side of that line and being smart, but not being conservative.
What do you make of their defense? Was there much that you took from that tiny bit playing against them that you're looking to this time, or just kind of like what are you seeing getting ready for them for this go around?
Yeah, we only had one drive against them, so it's kind of hard to take anything away from that. And they played the same team twice since we've played them, and there's not much carryover in terms of what our offense does and their offense does. So it's kind of original game plan thought, and again making adjustments on the fly. They've played certain teams certain ways, and again they can come out and play us completely different than what the first drive said that they were going to play us. So again, it's just being smart, decision wise, trying to find the open guy, getting the run game involved, and like I said, just trying to be a balanced offense against this team. They're high motor. They got their other DN back, and they're making a lot of plays right now. Logan Wilson had an unbelievable play on the goal line, and he's a heck of a player, and they're playing really inspired football right now. They've won I think eight or nine straight, and it's a team it's going to be tough to beat. They're coming into our house, and they're playing with a lot of confidence. And we got to be ready for whatever they can throw at us.
Josh, you talk about the fine line between being reckless and being aggressive. How do you kind of process that and balance that? Because I would imagine it's like you can't overthink stuff. Is it more just trusting your instincts, or what kind of goes into that?
Yeah, I think it's very instinctual. I think it's also very dictated on the flow of the game, sometimes down in distance. But again, just understanding what type of game it is. And last week, maybe getting too aggressive and just understanding, with the lead, just forcing longer drives instead of helping their team get back in it, and that's what I really did. And again, I credit our defense for stepping up and guys making some plays on the offensive side of the ball. But again, we're not going to get caught up in a couple bad plays that we had last week, and we're going to focus on the good, and we're going to learn from it. And like I said, our attention's all on Cincinnati come Sunday at 3:00.
How's your ankle feeling? Did that affect anything the last couple of games?
No, it feels good. It's fine. Doesn't affect much.
When you About maybe getting too aggressive? Is there someone that can like reach you in that moment, or do you talk kind of to yourself internally, or how does that work?
Yeah, I think it's internal. You can have the offensive coordinator say something in the headset, but at the end of the day, it's the man in the arena. It's the guy in the helmet that's got to make the decision. And again, I don't want to put our team in bad situations, and I just want to help this team win football games, and that's what I'm paid to do, is score touchdowns for this offense and help us win games.
Playoff Gabe Davis seems to be a real thing. What do you see in the postseason with him that just kind of changes a little bit?
I know everybody wants to make it a deal. He's the same guy. He really is. And I know this year hasn't been the best year that he could have had. But, I mean, you still look at the stats and the numbers that he's put up this year. It was a very, very solid year. And I freaking love the guy to death. He's, one of the most liked guys in the locker room. He works extremely hard. You look at just his work ethic, not just in season, but off season, how much work he puts into it. He really cares about this game. He cares about his teammates. He doesn't care who gets the recognition. He's the last guy in here. He's on the jugs right now by himself. So speaks a lot to who he is. He just wants to be the best that he can be.
Does anything change during a playoff week? I know everybody's always like, hey, you got to kind of keep the same momentum, the same rhythm or whatever. But is there a benefit to changing, approaching it a different way?
I can't say that it does. Again, we want to keep the same vibe, the same mindset that we've had. And I think the one thing that changes around here is just, instead of being playoff caliber, we got to be championship caliber. And I think Coach McDermott does a good job of messaging that to the guys, where everything you do, hopefully it would be towards winning a world championship. Everything on and off the field, in the treatment room, in the training room. Just making sure that we're physically and mentally ready to go as possible, because again, it's win or go home.
How much do you think that, I'm not saying you reflect back, but the experiences that this team has had, the experiences that you've had in the AFC Championship game, in the division final, in what's gone on this year, how much do you think that has better prepared you and this team for this test this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, I think it gives you a more sturdy foundation. The more struggle, the more adversity that you can see over a course of a year, it just makes you that much stronger. Again, we've been in some really weird situations this year that not a lot of teams maybe have ever gone through. So again, just being able to have that under our belt, understand those emotions and those situations, and just try to use it to our benefit. And again, I think the guys that we have in this locker room, the veteran leadership that we have, even having Von Miller in the locker room, just being able to talk with guys, like that's so huge for what it does to our psyche and our mental approach to the game. So, yeah, I think that can definitely benefit you if you use it the right way.
Go back to the Browns game. Sorry. If you go back to the Browns game, you guys had 5 straight games. I think it was like 3 total turnovers in those 5 games. Is there anything when you're going that good as a team that you can kind of take from when things are that good, when you're not turning the ball over, when you're trying to maybe get out of the rut?
Potentially. Again, just making decisions. Sometimes tip picks are going to happen, and that's just the gist of it. Like, you can't just try to eliminate every single turnover and play scared. Like, you still have to be, the way that we play. We're aggressive. We want to score touchdowns, and that's the gist of it, to be honest. And again, we don't want to play scared at the end of the day.
Do you approach
Josh, I probably should have asked Sean this, and I didn't, about today, like going to a walkthrough as opposed to a full practice. Is that beneficial to you? I mean, is there wear and tear, like rest, a chance to maybe focus in a different way? Is that beneficial looking towards?
I think it's beneficial to really everybody on this team. It's been a long season, and as you get later into the playoffs, your body can only sustain so much. So for Sean to, come out and let us have a walkthrough, and again, making sure that our guys are being mentally there and paying attention to the looks that we're getting, the plays that we're running. And I think it's like I said, it's a benefit to have the guys in the locker room that we do, to be able to come out and do this and focus and get the things done that we need to get done. So yeah, I think it is beneficial for us.
I know you've said DeMar's been around and talking to guys and stuff. Have you personally gotten to interact with him much? And if so, what has that been like?
Yeah, just a few hugs here and there. Everybody's chomping at the bit to talk to him, and don't want to overload him with too much right now, but it's been good to see him, you know, with a smile on his face, and you know, guys love having him back in the building.
You've
Do
said
you
it from
approach your game day outfit any differently when you're going against Joe Burrow?
No, he's gonna win that battle 10 times out of 10. I don't dress to impress on game day. Just kind of walk in the closet and pick whatever I see first. So maybe someday down the road.
You've said it since training camp how much trust you have in Khalil, and then he has the drop, but then he makes the really big play at the end of the game. Is there an added dimension he brings the offense, or is there something that he brings maybe when he's out there that other people might not?
I mean, again, he knows all the positions. I think he's faster than what people give him credit for. You know, he's a bigger body. I think he's fairly shifty too. And again, he's just kind of a mixture of what you'd want in the slot. So again, the more that we can get him involved and get going, and obviously he's still young, but the more that he can learn from each and every situation that he's out there and learn from the guys in front of him, I think it's going to benefit him down the road.